Hey everyone, I'm Anusha. Welcome to Law Minds. Today I'll be discussing the rights that a husband has if his wife files a false statement. So, starting with the general understanding of marriage. What does marriage mean? Marriage is a social and a legal institution that formalizes the union between individuals, typically to establish a family, share responsibilities, and create a recognized and legally binding relationship. In India, marriage is primarily governed by personal laws based on an individual's religion. The definition of marriage can vary depending on the religious and cultural background of the individuals involved. So, now let's have a general overview of it. In an Hindu marriage, it is considered a sacrament and is primarily governed by Hindu Marriage Act of 1955. In a Muslim marriage, it is a civil contract between a man and a woman. The marriage contract is known as nikah. It involves a mutual consent, the specific conditions agreed upon by the parties. For Christian marriage, it is governed by Indian Christian Marriage Act 1872. The marriage ceremony follows Christian traditions and includes the exchange of vows, rings, and other rituals. Now let's move to the legal requirements. What is the legal requirement of marriage in India? Marriage registration is often required under various personal laws and the Hindu Marriage Act, Special Marriage Act. Consent of both parties is generally essential, and the legal age for marriage is 18 for women and 21 for men. The marriage ceremony may involve rituals and customs specific to the community. Now let's move towards the main discussion, that is the rights that a husband has if wife files a false statement. It is common nowadays that dispute arises between the husband and the wife. Earlier, it was thought that a woman could only be abused by her husband or other family members. But now, this idea and assumption have completely changed. Women frequently utilize the support of law as a means of fulfilling their enmity towards their husband and his relatives. So, provision of Section 498A of IPC becomes the strong weapon against their husband to end the marriage. So, now let's have a brief idea about Section 498A. 498A of IPC states that whoever being the husband or the relative of the husband of a woman subject to such woman to cruelty shall be punished with imprisonment for a term which may extend to 3 years and shall also be liable to fine. The offence is cognizable, non-compoundable and non-bailable, which means with non-bailable means you have to appear in court and get bail from the judge. Non-compoundable means complaint can't be withdrawn, and cognizable means register and investigate the complaint, although in practice most of the time arrest happens before investigation. Even if the complaint is false, husband shall be presumed guilty until he is proven that he is innocent. Now let's move to 498A and how it is being misused. It is being misused because of the legal extortion, get rich quick scheme to extort large amount of money, prior relationship. Wife If wife has a prior relationship and cannot get out of it, she marries to satisfy her parents and then misuses the 498A law to obtain a divorce. Adultery, women who indulge in adultery also use 498A as a bargaining tool. Domination, the wife wants the husband to abandon his parents and siblings and have total control over his finances and social behavior. Now let's move to how the society is being abused. Society is being abused in many ways, like abuse of criminal judicial system, elder abuse. Most senior citizens who have never been to the police stations or courts in their lifetime are dragged into the jail without investigation and then into court cases that span several years. Women abuse. Many women in husband's family are abused by the process. Abuse of entire extended family. Many in the husband's family lose their jobs earning because of this. Cruelty towards children. Separation of parents from children, including infants, resulting in trauma. Disintegration of families due to the fear of being implicated in a false 498A case. Parents have now started to legally disown their son before or immediately after the marriage. The terror of this law has resulted in the break of numerous families, suicides of innocent peoples, unable to bear the harassments and humiliation they suffer after being charged in a false criminal case. Many people, including the aged senior citizens, have been committing suicides. Here you can see the number of deaths of men by suicide because of the false complaint on section 498A of IPC. You can also check the recent data. There are also some specific provisions within the IPC that can be used by the husbands if they are being charged with a false complaint, like defamation. Section 499 and 500 of IPC deal with defamation. If the false statement harms the husband's reputation, the advocate may consider filing a defamation suit under this section. Perjury, that is section 191 to 195 of IPC. It covers offences relating to giving false evidence or making false statement in legal proceedings. False information, that is from section 177 to 182 of IPC. It covers offences related to providing false information to the public servants or fabricating the evidences. If the false statement involves misleading the authorities, this section can be used. Criminal intimidation, that is section 503 of IPC. If the false statement is accompanied by threats or intimidation, section 503 of IPC deals with the criminal intimidation. This section may be invoked if there is an element of coercion or threat. Defamation as a form of mental cruelty, that is section 498 of IPC, which we discussed earlier. In some cases, false accusation made by the wife may consider mental cruelty and this section can be invoked. Malicious prosecution under section 211 of IPC deals with the false charge of an offence made with intent to injure. If the false statement leads to legal proceedings against the husband, this section may be relevant. Privacy violation, that is under section 66E of the Information Technology Act of 2000. Which deals with the violation of privacy. Next is the family law provisions. Not only in IPC but also in family law provisions can also be relevant. False accusation within the context of matrimonial dispute can impact various family law matters and the husband may have rights under specific family law provisions. As per me, to remedy the current situation, the legislation must be made gender neutral. Furthermore, there should be a punishment for making false statement. These were the some of the rights that a husband has when his wife files a false statement. Thank you. Do like the video and subscribe the channel.